if you're new here, I'm Kaniti, and if you're already watching my One Piece Chill channel, welcome back. Today we are going to read the newest chapter of One Piece, number 1150, so of course spoiler alert if you're not up to date with manga, but let's see what this chapter has. Let's go. It's called Domi Reversi, that must be the name of an attack, and we have Oni Child, Yamata and Inari Shrine Pilgrimage. Volume 34. Wait, are we finally at the Inari Shrine? It does look like it. Wait, no way. Yes, his sword is laid to rest at Enma Shrine in Hakumai. Pilgrimage complete. A round of applause. Finally, 34 volumes later, we got our pilgrimage complete. Well, it makes sense. Pilgrimage is supposed to be long. The shrine is so small and old, that's a bit sad, but also has a certain charm to it, right? And a note from Oda Sensei: I went to Glaze Teru's house for Golden Week and had my fill in Hakodate. It was as delicious as it was fun. Okay, I didn't understand like half of it. Hakodate is the name of the city. So the city was delicious and fun. That sounds good. I guess there was a lot of good food. We start immediately with a double page. The adults have arrived. Everyone is converging in one place. Okay, interesting. The children, thank God they're all right. Bargai? My daddy was pushed down into the realm of the dead. I guess that's kind of how Kalom knows like, this specific adult. The guy from a bar who works at the bar. Also, yeah, designs as always very interesting. I love this. What? Your son fell? That mean lady did it. Watch out! Dad! Mama! Oh, that's so... Yeah, she's floating? You must have been scared. Let's get you away, Kui. And guess she is floating. That mean lady. But is it really like Gunka now? Because... Or is it Imusama? Let's see how this goes. Because next we see the adults kind of affected. And then... I can't quite tell what is going on. Like this dude, I assume the bar guy with an interesting hairstyle. He shows a very weird face expression and then I think he just falls down, yelling very loudly. So he was hurt in a way from a distance. So the kids are surprised, like what is going on? And then we see Gunka giving like a side eye and the eye looks like, well, Imu's eye. This is mayhem. And I assume this little black dot is Gunka in the middle of the frame, as we were told she was floating, and there's huge conqueror's haki coming out. So we can assume that maybe the bar guy, he kind of went into the range of the, because he was in the front of all the adults coming in. He went into the range of that conqueror's haki. I guess the kids weren't affected, but maybe it's just like started taking effect, because then we see other adults also form at the mouth, and the kids then as well losing consciousness. Though it seems like the bar guy, he did seem to have a little bit of a different reaction, but yeah, I would assume it's all just effect of this insanely strong conquerors. And we got another double page. Holy shit, it's like chapter of double pages right away. Wait, let me cover this part a little bit. Whoa, oh, we see Dory and Brogy here. We see other giants along with Yarul. Yarul is looking into the distance with an expression. I'm not quite sure, like with a serious expression. Gunka starts using some kind of attack which uses again this kind of summoning circles that we saw Gorosei use, and I think we also saw God's Knights use. So these summoning circles, they must come initially like from the power of Imu. Imu is just so powerful. They are using this for their main strongest underlings. But now if it's really like Imu somehow inhabiting Gunka's body, he is also, you see, he is not using arrows, which is her power. He is using his own power, which also kind of looks interesting because it is a summoning circle. The weapon is also different, like Neptune has in mythology, you know, but something that is often depicted in the scenes of hell, I think. There are some weird things inside the summoning circle that look like octopuses, like sucking cups. I'm not sure again how they are called. And then we have this beautiful demonic frame, which is it goes now full 100 on the hell theme with this weapon again that looks like something used in the depictions of hell, even with the tail and the black wings. It's like full package. I guess we are implying that thanks to these wings, Gunka is floating. I shan't permit a rebellion. Is this all your dream demons amount to, Quillingam? Okay, so he is very disappointed. This is interesting. Again, makes me think, is Gunka the only one, or like one of selected few that can be used for this? No, not at all, my lord. There are still many nightmare fissures left open. These monsters were born from the nightmares of this island. They are creatures made from demons with no concept of death. I can revive them at any time. I just need to give the signal. Quillingam is immediately like, no, everything is good, everything is fine, I got this, don't be mad. And yeah, Imu is quite disappointed. This is interesting. Gorosei, Imu-sama, God's Knights, well, God's Knights in kind of to a lesser degree, they have this hell theme to them, because at first we saw a little bit of that theme in Impel Down and it made a lot of sense, though I guess it was maybe more like BDSM theme, but there was clear hell theme to it too. But like, yeah, this is a prison, a very high security prison, so it like being reminiscent of hell makes a lot of sense. What interests me though, that we have this concept of devil fruits, like devil's fruits, you could say theoretically, right? So the name itself, it has this theme in it, right? This hell theme, devil theme, and now we see a lot of this theme represented here. At the same time, they are called, for example, God's Knights, right? Not like Devil's Knights or Hell's Knights, but God's Knights. And then Tenryubito, they are celestial dragons. So it feels like we have a lot of contradicting themes here. Or maybe it's more like a facade is so godly and angelic and everything like heavenly. But when you look into the core of it, you realize, oh, that was only the facade. That's what's really inside is hell, is devils, demons, these pentagrams, etc. This is just hidden under the surface, and all this facade is just for the show, you know, showing kind of the reality of how maybe the government or just powerful people can set themselves to look like. They can be all like, oh, just any system in general, right, can seem trying to pose itself in a good light, but if you look a little bit under the surface, if you go really to the core of it, it's not light, it's very dark, and it's very corrupt. A while ago I was thinking that devil's fruits were more like kind of an answer to this God's realm, let's say, that we have on the red line. Even though obviously everyone in this world uses devil's fruits, I thought this is an interesting theme, that we have kind of like devils, rebels, pirates against people who present themselves to be so holy and cool and cooler than you and higher than you, and showing that actually we should root for the people that seem to represent the devils, the demons, which are pirates, just we're supposed to look at them at like someone bad, someone killing and plundering, etc. But Oda Sensei is showing us that it's not always about like what's on the surface and what our like preconceived notions are. It's more like about actions of certain people, because obviously there are pirates who are like this in One Piece, who are murdering and plundering, turning a little bit on its head the idea of good and bad, the idea of like good and evil, of heavenly godly and of demony devilly, and I thought that was quite interesting. But now having the world government's core so connected to the theme of hell and devils, etc., makes me think, oh, like devil's fruits are kind of thematically closer to them. Yeah, I feel like I wanted to do some conclusion about this, but this is just like my thoughts in the process. Maybe if you have something to say, if you got an idea from it or you want to discuss it, please feel free to do so in the comments. But yeah, sorry for this long monologue. Let's continue with the chapter. And we have first regular page, not double page in this chapter. Summers shepherd those urchins. At once, my lord, huff, he's still alive. Well, we already saw that he was alive in the previous chapter. He was shown to be like breathing, maybe even saying something. The one in the sky is the woman from earlier, right? She's barely recognizable. Well, Luffy and the others now. Well, now Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji should be. Those straw hats are discussing the situation. And Brooks says, there is Hyruddin and his crew. This is the worst time they could have chosen to go to the realm of the dead. Right, and the realm of the dead is kind of in bold here. Like, maybe we have to think like, oh, wait, right, we have this part of the group. Maybe at some point, like, they come in and save the day. We just have to hold on until that moment, because we haven't seen them for a while here in what we see as readers. What are you doing, Robin? I can't just sit here and do nothing, she says. It's unbearable. Yeah, and as we see, she's trying to struggle against Summer's thorns to the point of them drawing blood from her. But then in the next frame we see like the school or the library, like these buildings. I'm not sure like which building it is. I guess we were in school, so I suppose we did start with school, but I would assume that both of them, like fire was set to both of them. And obviously this is something very important to Robin, and this is the main point I feel like she's worried about right now, and why she's trying to break free, maybe hopefully to stop the fire. It is imperative that we establish a suitable authority, Imusama continues, one capable of striking a proper ransom for those adolescents. What? It's just as you say, my lord. What do you do with a country that has no king? Summers is saying desperately, like trying to protect himself from Imusama's wrath, because it is quite obvious that Imusama rules with fear. And then Summers thinks to himself, damn you, Gyaban, that was painful. And we see his arm is severely injured, but it seems like he is slowly recovering with his zombie abilities, like Usopp was saying. I was kind of hoping his thoughts would be something against Imusama, because I feel like from what we saw in just these few pages, as I said, it's more like Imusama rules with fear, and I feel like that's never good. Your like people who are under you, they will do what you say, but they will not actually love and respect you. In fact, in their heads, they will think very nasty things about you, and at the first chance they would rebel themselves if they see like the weakness in you, if they see the chance. And they might be loyal as God's knights, but I still think like there is a possibility like this. If they are kind of like religious people in a way, and they do see Imusama as some kind of god, maybe that is less likely. Blue Ogre Dory, Red Ogre Brogy, Imusama is saying. And they are so close now, they're like right into Imusama's face. Now I'm worried about them, to be honest. I command thee to claim dominion of this island. Henceforth ye shall reign as the kings of Elbaf. Okay, so Imusama is like, okay, there's no king. So this land is now, it doesn't have any monarchy. We can't deal with this. We need to establish suitable authority. And then he's like, okay, Dory and Brogy, they seem like someone with authority. I could use them as kings, and then also make this country submissive to the world government and deal with them as I deal with like the kings of the other countries. You are the one of those gods' knights? Hey you, all this chaos is your fault. Well, obviously they are talking like what Imusama was expecting, that they would be like, oh, thank you. Yeah, sure, we are going to become kings right away and do as you say, our lord. Like, are you fucking serious? Did you really expect that? Because the way Imusama was saying that, it does seem like he was expecting a very cold month. He's like, you guys, oh, thank God you came. Okay, so I announce you kings now. So now we should be good, right? It feels like he didn't expect any disagreement or anything. Okay, so this is the end of this page. Dory and the rest of you guys run up ahead. You got it, Captain. Wait. So I thought Brogy kind of punched Imu, but I think I misunderstood that panel. He grabbed him in his fist. You got it, Captain. Be careful, Brogy. I'm taking those kids back. How many of you are there? And he's like very sure of himself because he's so huge and he's holding Imugunka so tightly in his fist. But Imu is completely unfazed. Listen, Brogy. Go and meet with Mountain Beard Yarul. You shall take his head and raise it up high. Then proclaim to the people of the island, we are the kings of Elbaf. And while Imusama is saying this, he's holding some kind of devil book. I don't know, it's not animation, right? It's manga, so I'm not sure how to say, like, the effects on the book. I wanted to say the animation of the book. It looks pretty cool, like all of these visual effects. That's crazy talk. This is our homeland. You don't call the shots here. Okay, I thought for a second, could this book be something of a manipulation tool? Like something with hypnosis? But it seems not, because at least Brogy was unfazed. Now suddenly... Wait, what is going on? It would be intolerable to leave this matter unsettled. Imusama suddenly got like several different weapons. Now he has a huge pistol, judging by this frame. It's like very big, bigger than his body, and a huge sword, I guess, so it's fitting to fight the giant. The sword was put to use immediately, and then the pistol as well, and holy shit. Now accept my ungodly power. And he just shoots off Brogy's arm, like hand, not arm, but like holy that looks so gory. Oh, that's insane. I feel like One Piece doesn't have too many gore per se, but this frame is definitely very gore-ish. And he says ungodly. That's my ungodly power. Or the captain's arm. Holy shit. It's even a bit more. I don't know, in the previous frame it looked like just the hand, but then on this page it looks like even a little bit more than a hand was lost. What, chief? It can't be. The chief is tough as nails. Oof. I won't forgive that woman, one of the giants is saying. And meanwhile, Imo continues talking. Thou shalt cast aside thy lifespan for a body unyielding to death. Under Mu's dominion, thou shalt be granted unprecedented strengths. No longer shalt thou be bound by reason, nor by common sense. Becoming a demon is truly the pinnacle of existence. Curl demonic contract. Maybe it will be kind of like not really hypnosis, but in a sense, right? Because what Imo is saying now, that a lot of interesting things. First of all, I feel like maybe it applies to God's Knights as well and to Gorosei. So Imo surrounded themselves with the strong people and used his demonic powers on these people with this pentagram to make them demons, to make demons out of them. Looks like they also live forever, basically. A body unyielding to death. So yeah, we can assume Gunka, for example, when she became a young woman, I mean, like that kind of age, like 20-something maybe, that's when she was made into a demon, and that's why she still looks so young. Because when we talk about Brook, as you know, I'm super bad with years, but I feel like loads of years have passed, right? So if she knew him when she was small and he was still a regular human being, it must have been a while ago, like a long time ago, she would be much older. And if she became this kind of demon that casts away its lifespan and then yielding to death and stuff, I feel like that could imply that she also stopped aging, and that would also show like why Brook thinks like, oh, this is someone familiar, but I'm not sure, like, you look like her, but you can't be her. Because in Brook's mind, he would expect, like, if he remembers this little girl that is potentially like his daughter or someone who was like a daughter to him, he would assume in his head that she should be older, and this can't be her. And then unprecedented strengths and no reason nor common sense. And I feel like this is also a huge factor, because all of God's Knights, they showed this kind of, how it's called, like sociopathic behavior. And it seems like it doesn't necessarily mean they were like that before becoming demons, before becoming God's Knights, but because Imo used this power, that's when they lost their humanity, so to say, and they became demons. And now this is being used on Brogy, a curl demonic contract. There's a whole pentagram under him, and I feel like maybe also the blood from the severed hand is being used to seal the contract. And then on the other page, he's yelling, "Wow, I'm sinking!" Like inside the ground with the flames. It's really like hell vibes, 1000%. And this is where the name of the chapter comes in, as Imo uses Domi Reversi. Kanji reads as Black Dominion Reversion. What the hell is going on with Brogy? Whoa, boss! I have so many questions. I feel like he's trying to fight the sinking, So he tried to pull his lower body out, but it didn't really work as his upper body ended up falling in as well. So it seems like under the pentagram there's this hell space, and as your body goes inside that hell space, you become fully reversed, as it said, Black Dominion reversion. So there's Black Dominion inside this pentagram, under the earth, underneath, as hell is supposed to be underneath, right? Under the earth. And so in this Black Dominion, you reverse from human to demon, from a good person to a bad person, basically, also. Because next, we see him rise up, and his face does look different, like his eyes, his creepy smile. It is a small frame, but you can see a change right away. Okay, I'm scared. Next page. He really turned into a demon. He's even bigger now. Look, these are giants near him, and he is like at least 3 times bigger than those giants. What happened to you, Captain Broggy? He has these wings now again. His hand is still severed, but it is being used as if it is not. The horns, this ox, I'm not sure, the double ox, that is horrible. So Imu's power is creating minions for themselves, and I assume then they also receive part of Imu's powers. That's how they can use these teleportation pentagrams for themselves. They can use some of those things for themselves because they became demons. He literally turned them into demons. And then they can just get some of these demonic powers thanks to that. His face is scary. Give the chief back. Yeah, he doesn't even look very sentient, he understands what is going. He just looks completely insane. As Imu said, not bound by reason nor by common sense. A warrior's pride. Gaba-ba-ba-ba. I feel like I can do anything. This is exhilarating. This is so horrible. Can we reverse it back? Did we just lose Broggy, basically? I think it's just starting to sink in. I'm like, wait. Wait, what? He took out Boss Dory? Is this what happened on this frame? No, wait. On the next page, they meant Imu-sama. Dory was also turned into a demon. So when Imu was saying, you are going to become kings, he was maybe going to turn them into demons anyway from the very start, even if they did not reject his offer of becoming kings, especially because it's much easier for Imu to manipulate the kings that became his demons, his minions, basically. But now we're kind of losing Dory and Broggy. It is different, though. The way they turned, they both look like Gunka looks now, with the whole demonic hell design. God's Knights and Gorosei, they don't look specifically like that. They all look different in their own way. So maybe this is something different. This is the spell for creating demons that are more like mindless demons, and it's not something that was used on Gorosei and God's Knights. Maybe it was a bit different. At the same time, we saw Gunka assume this form as Imu started controlling her. So maybe they do all start as demons like that. But then at the moment when they are not actively controlled, they can be more like themselves, but some of the control still stays, so they still do as Imu-sama says. But at any moment when he decides to take some kind of full control, they do go to the demon form. There are a lot of interesting questions about this. Hold on, what are you saying? Chief Dory, what about rescuing the kids? you can't take something like that back. We've got to stop this too. And this is horrible on so many levels. First of all, because these are such beloved characters. We know them since Little Garden, which was eternities ago. That was such a long time ago. And they are so cool and so lovable, and we have a bond with them and an attachment to them. And them, if they turn into these demons, if this is not reversible, if that's it, they're corrupted forever, it's kind of similar to them dying in a way, which is horrific. And also they are very strong, and if they are now not on our side, if they are now on Imu's side unwillingly, that the strength becomes a very huge threat to us, because and they maybe became even stronger. As we see, they became even bigger, and there was this unprecedented strength promised to them by Imu, right? Chiefs, what? Wait, what is going on? You guys too? The others are also turning into the demons. This is a whole freaking army of demons. What the heck is going on? Wait, isn't this too much? Is it because they were standing between those two? Huh? So 3 other giants were also affected. Them specifically because they were standing between Dory and Brogy. So the spell was still in action and they just accidentally fell to it as well? Okay, that's an interesting assumption. I thought they were just... It's a spell that's used on every person specifically. I would think it's probably was Imu's intention to turn them as well. I don't think they would let anything happen on accident with their own power. Maybe, in any case, we gotta go. Yeah, this is crazy. Now, this must be something different, like this turning into this minion, into this demon, must be something different to what we have with God's Knights and Gorosei. But this is something at least similar, because we do see that all, like the Gorosei and God's Knights are united by, for example, being able to use this teleportation pentagram, and I think they can use it by their own accord from what I saw so far. So it's not like Imu has to every time teleport them all by themselves, like, oh, you wanna go there, okay, let me teleport you, oh, you wanna go there now, okay, let me teleport you. I don't think they would want to bother with that. So definitely there was something used, especially as we see like Gunka was somehow definitely manipulated, like her memories were suppressed. I feel like they were turned somehow, because, for example, Gorosei, they did turn into these demonic beasts, and I don't think it was ever shown to be some kind of devil fruit. They were just the demons, that's it, the demons period, no fruit power. And I feel like that must have been something similar. Maybe you can turn someone, maybe Imu can turn someone just in a regular demon, or they can turn someone into something bigger, something stronger. Maybe there are some requirements. Maybe Dory and Brogy weren't strong enough for something special, like very special. Maybe if the one that is being turned is like super strong, like even stronger than them, then like them some kind of hockey strength or something inside them, then they turn into something cooler than just a demon, or different spell has to be used. Anyways, oh my gosh, last page, which is also a double page. It looks like a nightmare. Like I'm still sleeping and I'm seeing a nightmare. What the heck? This is the true power of Elbaf. It is not without merit. Prepare for battle. All the nightmares are again woken up now. I love this one. This is like the mother or the wife one with the skeleton on the left. This is hilarious. And yeah, the other ones are nice too. But now we see the designs of other 3 giants that were also turned into devils. Again, I especially like the one on the left, very thin one. Looks like kind of, well, not very much, but kind of like Koshchei Besmertny, Koshchei the Deathless from the Slavic mythology, which is also a character connected to this kind of death theme, or like afterlife themes, devils, demons, stuff like that, you could say. And obviously Dory and Broggy here front and center with their weapons that also now look more demonic. This is crazy, but never in my wildest fantasies would I imagine that I see something like this. Like, what is going on? Am I tripping? Like, okay, well. This nation shall not be laid to waste. It is to be ruled, Imu is saying. Basically, like, yeah, they are so strong, they have power. We could use them. They could be my minions. And I'm going to rule them. Well, Dory and Broggy will be kind of kings, but I will be that ruler. And, yeah, okay. Let us bear witness to how they serve in the crucible of war. I like how Quillingham is completely like, okay, whatever. I mean, I see shit like this every day. Summers looks a bit like taken aback, but also pretty chill, I suppose. And yeah, Dory and Broggy, they look completely controlled. Like, their eyes, they do not look okay. So yeah, it must be something different. Lord Yarul, you have to run away. Chief Dory and Broggy acting strange. Run away. Warriors, Yarul is saying, do not know the meaning of the word run. Man, holy shit. I love these badass One Piece lines so much. Warriors do not know the meaning of the word run. And like, this makes your blood boil. That is so cool. Holy shit. This chapter is like, yeah, I'm just dreaming. I'm seeing a nightmare. What is going on? It must feel like this for the citizens of Elbaf as well. They're like, holy shit, maybe we should try pinching ourselves. This can't be happening, right? This is insane. But I think like the most interesting part for me is Imu's powers and kind of how they work, because what is happening is horrific, but I feel like I'm a bit too curious about the powers, so I'm getting a bit distracted by that. Like, oh, how is it? Like, is it developed? What kind of spells do we have? How is this going to work long term? Can they function like themselves, like God's Knights do? Because they kind of they answer to Imu, but they can act kind of like individuals. But with Dory and Broggy, it seems like they're completely brainwashed. So yeah, I kind of said everything, though, I think, while reading the chapter, all of my thoughts, mainly like on Imu's powers, what is going on here. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts, what you make of it, what are your theories, maybe I missed something or misunderstood something. Please share that in the comments down below, as well as your favorite moment, as usual. And like, what is my favorite moment? It is very hard to choose, because last page is completely insane. I'm not sure if this is beatable by anything. I think, yeah, just this Dory and Broggy and these nightmares behind them, this is too much. This is the most memorable one. But yeah, I think the whole chapter was pretty cool. So yeah, share your thoughts and your favorite moment in the comments down below. But as I said, that would be it for today. So thank you for watching and see ya.